just going to stop the share. All right, great. We're one step closer. Welcome, everybody. All right, and Chris, I'm going to give you the countdown in just a moment. All right, so we're live in 3, 2, 1. We're ready to go.
Welcome, everyone, to the program launch for Together 2022. We're excited to be here with you today. And before we start, I'm just going to share a few words taught to me by my friend yesterday, Swani from Startup India and Invest India, and that is Apsab ka swagat hai. I welcome all of you. Swani, a few words to you as well.
Bonjour, bienvenue au lancement. A very warm welcome to all our viewers from Canada.
Well, it was just feels like yesterday that we were all together after an incredible run. 90 days we put together 2021. That almost rhymed. You'd think Mr. Godridge was here doing his epic poem from last year. We put together 2021 in just 90 days, and we had 250 students, 100 mentors, 50 speakers, all put together, came together across the globe to work as a team towards a common goal. And we'll talk more about that and more about what we're aiming for in Together 2022. What coming together last year taught us in this initiative, working together to bring our two innovation ecosystems as one, was that we really work well together, not only as organizations, but as two countries. So much common ground in terms of how we communicate and what we believe in and the spirit that we have to innovate and create new opportunities for young people. So it's been a great pleasure working on that. And now this year, we have even greater ambitions. We've doubled our targets in terms of the number of students that we're looking to impact, the number of mentors that we're recruiting and bringing together. Imagine that. Now it's going to be 200 mentors, 100 from each country. And with that, I'd like to hand it over again to Swani to talk more about the mission that we're on.
Thank you, Chris. For any country, youth is the driving force of the country's economy, especially for developing countries like India and Canada. However, the world is currently full of complex social, economic, and environmental problems. In the rapidly changing world, half of today's activities will be automated, creating completely new roles, responsibilities, and challenges for the future workforce. Hence, it's important now more than ever to train and prepare today's generation for the unseen challenges of tomorrow. Entrepreneurs have the ability to change the way we live and work. Innovations have improved standards of living, created jobs, and have increased the wealth of countries. Entrepreneurs are national assets that are to be cultivated, motivated, and supported by all means possible. Hence, with the vision of nurturing these young minds of India and Canada, we are here to launch the second edition of Together 2022, a joint initiative by Startup India, DPIIT, and Schulich School of Business. To solve global issues, build solutions that spur the growth of both these economies in India and Canada. We are graced by the presence of our esteemed guests. A very warm welcome to Ms. Shruti Singh, Joint Secretary, DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. Ms. Apurva Srivastav, Consulate General of India, Toronto, Canada. Mr. Deepak Bagla, Managing Director and CEO of Invest India. And Dr. Detlef Zwick, Schulich School of Business, York University. We also have an amazing line of speakers for today. We have the founders from Upgrad, Leap Finance, and also an investor from VC Mars. We are also being joined by the participants and mentors of last year from the Together 2021 initiative. With immense pleasure, may I now invite Ms. Shruti Singh, Joint Secretary, DPIIT, Government of India, for her opening remarks.
Thank you, Swani. Thank you, Chris. Namaste. A very good morning to all my friends from Canada and a good evening to our audience from India. I welcome all of you to the launch of Together 2022. I would personally take this opportunity also to thank Srimati Apurva Srivastav, our Consulate General of India, Toronto, for all the support that she's given for this program to happen today. Canada is home to more than 1.6 million people of Indian origin, and they comprise more than 3% of its population. Over the last decade, the Canadian institutional investors have significantly contributed, committed funds to Indian startups, more than $30 billion, much of it in the last 5 years. Some of the big names that come to mind are Sun Life Financial, McCain Foods, Magna International, IBI, Bombardier. They've set up shops in India now. As we see it, startups across the world are the new binding force. They are breaking barriers, they are breaking boundaries, they are making the whole world one common place to live in, to invest in, to bring new ideas in. So a startup sitting in the remotest corner of India or Canada today, it's amazing, can get mentorship from anybody across the world, thanks to the world we live in, thanks to the boundaries we've been able to break, all thanks to entrepreneurship. Today, the Indian startup ecosystem has more than 57,000 registered startups with us, 45% of which are coming from smaller cities, from tier 2, tier 3 cities. This is the kind of revolution that the startup movement has brought about in the country. I'm told the last year's Together series, which was conceived in 2020, was a massive success. The initiative brought about mentorship opportunities, learning opportunities to more than 100 student entrepreneurs in India, to more than 150 graduate students from Schulich School. I'm happy to share that 100 brilliant student entrepreneurs from India, they represented more than 20 states and UTs, 40 plus universities and colleges across the country, and 61% of them were from smaller cities, from tier 2, tier 3 cities. We had more than 30% women representation in the last cohort. We look forward to much more representation from women, from startups, from smaller cities in this particular cohort. Today, we launched the next edition, Together 2022, with the vision to support more students across India and Canada and increase the impact of this program further. This program will be a week-long entrepreneurship bootcamp to be held in January 2022, where Indian students will partner with Canadian students to bring their ideas to life with the support of dedicated mentors and industrial stalwarts, imparting their wisdom to young students. I hereby declare the applications of Together 2022 live. I wish luck to all the applicants, and I really hope that this bootcamp that we've planned in January 2022, it acts as a very strong catalyst in culminating ideas into commercially viable startups of the future. My sincere regards to the Startup India team and to the Schulich Business School and to our Consulate General for organizing this wonderful program of Together 2022. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joint Secretary. And thank you for your words where you reflected on the boundaries that we're able to break. And I think that is really a theme in terms of what we're doing here together. I also want to thank you on behalf of the Schulich School of Business and everyone from the team in Canada for representing the courage last year as well to take a leap of faith together, that we could do something that seemed completely preposterous at the time in 90 days, but that with good effort and innovation, we pulled off. So thanks for being here with us today. We really appreciate it. Next, it's my great honor to introduce Ms. Apurva Srivastava. She is the Honorable Consul General of India for the Government of India with us here in Toronto. And I have to say, has been a driving force on this end in terms of rallying the business community here and leaders to support the initiative of Together 2021. And one of the first people to step up and support us and help out. And I'm excited to hear words today and welcome you back.
Thank you, Chris. Good morning to everyone in Canada and good evening to people joining us from India. Let me begin by thanking the Schulich School of Business, Mr. Detlef Zwick, and especially Mr. Chris Carter, who and his team for putting together this exciting event. You know, Chris, you have been fabulous. You have been so enthusiastically, envisaged this whole program that we all of us have drawn in by your enthusiasm. I would also like to thank Ms. Shruti Singh, JSDP IIT, and of course, Mr. Deepak Bagla, CEO Invest India, for all the support they have given for this event. And with double the students and mentors this year, we look forward for double the exciting outcomes for this Together 2022. Last year, when Chris shared the program with us, we at the Consulate were extremely excited to be part of it, as it provides a great platform for youth from both India and Canada to, kind of fire their imagination with support from mentors from the industry. And I'm really confident that this hackathon, now that as it has become a regular feature, will create great opportunities towards nurturing of emerging startups and scaling up of collaborations of innovation, science, and entrepreneurship between India and Canada. A little bit about India and Canada. We are the most natural partners in the world because we share a truly unique relationship. We are strategic partners. We are both vibrant democracies, share Commonwealth traditions, have a similar parliamentary model, speak the same language, and the two multicultural societies that truly value and cherish diversity. Toronto here was one of the most diverse cities in the world, from people from all nationalities. We are also bound together by strong people-to-people ties with 1.7 million in strong Indian diaspora in Canada, functioning as a living bridge between the two countries. We have 230,000 Indian students studying here in Canada, 700,000 Indians living and working here on PRs. So there's a lot of connection already happening. When we look at the India-Canada startup corridor, it has a great potential. Both our countries have strong and diverse startup ecosystems. If we look at India, startups are today redefining the Indian economy, favorable democracy, open economic environment. There's a culture of entrepreneurship, and it is further fueled by 1.2 billion phone connections, 750 million internet users, of which 550 million are smartphones. There's a thriving digital payments ecosystem. And to top it all, we have an extremely dynamic team of Startup India. With their help, we have now, I'm told that 65 unicorns, of which 28 have been created in 2021 alone. In fact, Digit Insurance, India's first unicorn of 2021, has a strong Canadian connection. It has an investment from Canadian company Fairfax Holdings. And these unicorns are coming up in wide range of sectors, from fintech to e-commerce to SaaS, gaming platforms, cryptocurrency, logistics, and various areas. If we look at Canada, it is a world leader in science, technology, and innovation, and is recognized as one of the most innovative and competitive economies in the world, with innovation centers in various universities, innovation centers like Mars, Schulich School, Ryerson. There's a huge possibility. And if we look at both India and Canada, we both have introduced a range of reforms that have enormously supported the startup business ecosystem in our countries. So I'm sure there's a much greater scope. And in this context, Together 2022, which will feature critical sectors with huge potential for collaboration and trade development, is a great initiative, and it will benefit, of course, both the countries and to the greater world if we come up with innovative ideas. As this program unveils, I strongly believe that it will generate brighter opportunities for every participant. I wish every student all the very best, and once again, thanks Schulich School of Business, especially Chris and Startup India and the team, and for all eminent partners and mentors for putting this remarkable program together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your kind words and support. As ma'am just mentioned, startups are building solutions in every sector, and there are huge synergies between India and Canada. May I now invite Mr. Deepak Butler, MDCU Invest India, to share his thoughts on the growth of Indian startup ecosystem and shed light on India-Canada innovation relations. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Swani. I must tell you one thing, this photograph you put out there is extremely misleading. It is obviously a decade ago. Now there's no hair left. And Chris, while you continue looking younger than the last time I saw you, obviously it's the energy of the entire success of the program. We've got to make some changes on that. But before I say anything, Chris, Swani, thank you very much. And Chris, the success of what you guys did is so encouraging. And that's where you're seeing how we are seeing the involvement this time from both the sides. It's one of the most successful programs in such a short period of time, which I'm seeing. And the interesting thing is the stakeholder development across this, the mentors, the students, the people, and all of you, I think is so vibrant, so effective, full points. Really, congratulations. And I'm really looking forward to this launch again. And, this morning, the newspaper said India has got its 33rd unicorn of this year. It's amazing. Over 3 unicorns a month this year. And, if I have to single out one person for that, obviously the Prime Minister who launched Startup India, but the person who's really led it on the ground, Shruti Singh. She's with us. Very, very commendable work. She's held on to the reins right from the beginning, the policy framework, the execution, and getting this entire movement through, a movement which is now recognized in business schools across the globe as a success story. And Dean Zwick, that is our next enterprise. We should be looking at the case study of what Shruti and her team have created as a success story right across. And our Consul General, Ma'am Srivastav, thank you very much. The support, not just on startups, but on everything else. I was just looking, as I speak to you, Invest India is handling 75 business requests from Canada. But I'll tell you what is most interesting of the 75 requests, business requests, it is across 32 sectors. You have widened the base and strengthened the foundation of this relationship between India and Canada, and a lot of it goes to you, the credit. I must read out the sectors to you. And the reason why I'm doing that, I know I'll take an extra minute, is to show you the number of sectors where this interaction is happening, where this interdependence is developing, and which is where I think is going to be open to a number of startups to be looking at. And let me start with energy, IT, food processing, construction, textiles, defense, education, a big one which we are already seeing startup movement, metals and mining, healthcare, another big sector, pharmaceuticals, very big, auto, banking and finance, another big sector which I'm seeing the startups coming in, biotechnology, consumer goods, media, a new upgrowing sector on this corridor, if I may say, medical devices, railways, retail, e-commerce, tourism, aviation, chemicals, EVs, electronic systems, leather, auto components, gems and jewelry, logistics, oil and gas, roads, space, and let me tell you the latest one on the horizon, water. India is currently running the world's largest water program. Even in the midst of the most unprecedented lockdown in the past 18 months, we've taken drinking water to over 50 million households. That means over 350 million individuals. The reason why, Dean Zwick, I'm giving you all these statistics is because you have led for us this partnership from your side. And this partnership is really going to be magical and showing amazing results. And this is going to be one of the strongest cementing pillars of this corridor as we take it forward. So with that, I know, Chris, you're getting impatient. I've exhausted my 5 minutes. Swani has already sent me a message saying that I should shut up. But I should really congratulate each one of you. You make us proud. There is so much now we are looking forward to where this corridor is concerned, where you startups and this entire enthusiasm and the encouragement and the real solutions to our real life issues which you are creating is not just for Canada and India, but the entire world. So thank you again for giving us this opportunity of this partnership. And I wish each one of you the very best. Thank you. Back to you, Swani and Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Bagla. And I have to say, people talk about my enthusiasm and my energy, but you need to know, where do I get it? I get it from when I hear you speak each year, your energy, your ideas, your thoughts, and your commitment to bring your team in full force and in joy and excitement to work with us. They're fantastic. And that's a credit to you in terms of leading them and giving them the support they need to do great things. So thank you for always supporting us and being here again. And I look forward to the next time I get to see you. I promise to attempt to age a little bit in the meantime. And with that, I'm going to introduce our very special guest, Dean Detlev Zwick from the Schulich School of Business. It's an exciting day for us because yesterday Dean Zwick was announced as the 8th dean in the 54-year history of the school. He served since right around the time of the pandemic. What a time to come in as the interim dean and to have the reins to navigate the school through that time. He did it with an incredible sense of openness and care for everyone in our community. And that was recognized with his full-time 5-year appointment yesterday. So Dean Zwick, welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much, Chris. Greetings, good morning, good evening from the Schulich School of Business here in Toronto. Great to see everyone here for this launch. A popular author and TED Talk speaker, Simon Sinek, said this about entrepreneurship: dream big, start small, but most of all, start. And that's what we're doing here today with this version 2.0 of the Together Entrepreneurship Bootcamp and Venture Competition. And Schulich is truly, once again, proud to play a part in this year's much bigger, much bolder competition. Competition that was inspired by our school's deep connection to India and made possible through the invaluable assistance of Schulich's India Advisory Council, including Council member Ratan Tata. And I can't really express the impact last year's competition had on our students, how many of them are still talking about the rich experience they gained by taking part in this competition. And as a dean, I'm just really excited to see our students teaming up with other students and innovators from across the globe. That's the type of global citizenship, cross-border collaboration. I think it's the future of business. It's the future of how we all work together. Fantastic to see it here in practice. And I'm really proud also to report that, you know, the entrepreneurial spirit at Schulich has never been stronger, really. The Schulich startups community continues to grow in strength and numbers. Our student alumni founders are making headlines, raising record amounts of funding, and our newly established Office of Innovation Entrepreneurship is creating programs, entrepreneurship opportunities, just like today's initiative. And I think what's so special about entrepreneurship and why I find it just such an important element of the student experience at Schulich, a real quality of entrepreneurship is that it's fundamentally about imagination and transformation. It's about imagining new ways of doing things, inventing a new future, challenging the status quo. Entrepreneurship is at the core about building new products or platforms, new kinds of companies, new ways of doing business. And ultimately, when it works best, as I think it does with an initiative like this, with Together, it's really about creating a better world. And at the end of the day, that's really what we're all striving to achieve with this Together Bootcamp. Bringing together hundreds of student entrepreneurs, hundreds of innovation leaders from around the world, a dozen of sponsors, corporate partners, all working together to create an innovation space that will help launch new businesses with the potential to impact the lives of millions of people. What could be better than that? At last year's competition, I mentioned how the post-pandemic world will be hungry for new ideas and solutions. And I think one of the silver linings in this pandemic is that it has opened our eyes to the possibilities of new ways of doing things. Many of those new possibilities will come from the innovation and startup sector. Some of them, I am convinced, will come from the entrepreneurs taking part in this year's competition. I'd like to finish sincere thanks to Startup India, to the government of India, to all the dignitaries present here today, including Srimati Shruti Singh, Joint Secretary of the Department of the Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, Srimati Apurva Srivastava, the Consul General of India in Canada, and of course, also Mr. Deepak Butler, CEO of Invest India. Thanks to Chris Carter for his leadership and his endless desire, it seems, to help fellow entrepreneurs succeed. So much energy, so much drive. Those of you who know Chris know that he always does dream big, and you always get things started. Fantastic. Regarding this year's competition, and of course, the Together Entrepreneurship Bootcamp couldn't exist without the involvement of our students, innovation leaders, and sponsors. To all of you, big thank you. And finally, thanks to everyone here for joining us. Best wishes for Together 2022, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Detlef, for your warm welcome. And thank you for helping us build a deep relationship between Schulich School of Business and Startup India.
And with that, it's my pleasure now to introduce our next guest, Sunita Bolsara, a VC at the Mars Investment Accelerator, but so much more than that, a leader within our community in terms of looking at venture capital and how it impacts our lives, our country, and our communities, and some of our most vulnerable communities. Also a Schulich MBA alumna and a program trainer for Together 2021, and now again for 2022. And she'll be working with our students to help them think about how they connect to the venture community and get their investments funded. Sunita.
Thank you, Chris, and hello, namaste. I'm excited to be here today. So as Chris mentioned, I'm a seed stage investor focused on early stage companies building groundbreaking tech and B2B enterprise, SaaS, digital health, fintech, and clean tech. And over the course of the pandemic, we saw these companies shine and address challenges that otherwise would not have been addressed during an unprecedented window of time for us. It's really exciting to be part of Together 2022. It was an amazing experience to be a trainer and watch a global community come together and learn across borders last year. And this year, there are participants from Canada, India, and a global community of mentors to coach along the way. As a Schulich alum, it's an honor to be part of the program and continue to bring the world together to solve big problems. While I was a student, part of my experience was the international exchange semester. And I think back fondly to that time and how formative that experience was, where I gained a global perspective, and it challenged me to reflect and evolve my own thinking and thoughts and approaches. And I learned in learning firsthand from others of how business problems are solved in other countries and share what I've seen be effective in my communities. I think that only by expanding our horizons of knowledge can we collaborate to really truly solve global problems together. As part of this year's program, I'm looking forward to sharing tactical knowledge on topics of fundraising for your companies, securing capital, and really telling that story for your business in a way that resonates with your investors. I'm excited for the students participating this year, and I think this will be a really formative experience for you as well. I encourage everyone to sign up and get involved. I hope the Together 2022 program will provide you with a global perspective and allow you to reflect on and evolve your thoughts and approaches to solving some of the world's biggest problems. Only by coming together can we solve these challenges in sustainability, self-reliability, and have a true social impact. And wishing everyone all the best. Many thanks to Shrimati Apurva Srivastava, Mr. Deepak Bangla, and Shrimati Shruti Singh for being part of this program launch. Your support is greatly appreciated. And congratulations to Schulich School of Business's newly appointed Dean, Dean Detlef Zwick. We know your impact to the Schulich community of students and alumni will continue to be immense. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind words.
Thanks, Anita, and thanks, Wani. And now we're going to move to the next part of the program. And this is really exciting because, ladies and gentlemen, this is what it's all about, which is the impact that the program has on the young people that we're working with and who spent their time and took the leap of faith to come in and be part of the Together 2021 program in the first year. So with that, I'm going to welcome Lokesh and Kunpreet from RIX. and now known as Angiris India Private Limited. And one of our top teams finished in second place in the competition last year. And I'm going to invite as well Nitish from Genflow AI to come forward, finished third place. Both businesses are doing really interesting things and continuing to grow and move forward in great ways. And we're going to bring forward Olivia, who is one of the Schulich students who participated on Team Rix. And we're going to have a few questions, Swani and I, for you. So I will ask that whichever one of you from the company speaks first, gives us a quick 30-second on the company and what it's all about and the problem that you're solving, and then answer the first question. So first, I'm going to kick off with Team Rix. You give us your 30-second, and then the first question is, what made you apply for Together 2021 in the first place?
So thanks, Chris. And Together 21, I got notification in my email box. I was a part of their email list. So I got almost on the last day, and I had seen that this is a new opportunity to collaborate with the international guy. So on the last day, on the last moment, I have participated in, and within few days, I got a confirmation mail. So that was the part how I came in. And about company, so we are converting plastic and construction waste into building material like a paver blocks and the bricks. So we are giving some new life to the waste which is discarded and which goes to the landfill. So this is where we came in. We have developed the technology which is applicable for the global plastic problem and the construction problem. So we can convert them into the useful product. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Swani. Over to you.
Great. So my next question is to Team Genflow AI. What were your top moments from the bootcamp?
Okay, so first of all, thank you. Good evening, everyone. One of the major thing I am happy about my past experience is that I got so many of network connects. Organizing Together 2021 is a fantastic thing because you're getting some persons from Canada and you're working on it, you are executing on it. And not only this, you are getting a great mentor, you are seeing the business tycoon and those person who are experienced in business. So that's definitely help a person to get network connects, to learn from this program and to move on in the further life.
Awesome, thank you. And could you add a few words about the problem that you're solving? It's a really interesting one.
Okay. So we guys are Genflow AI, and we had taken a challenge to digitize the livestock here in India. And with this, not only we are taking leads as a digital livestock healthcare. With this, we are also trying to provide the great deals of their fresh produce in our Indian market as well as international market, so that they could have a doubling income where our PM is also focusing on it. So with digitizing and providing the great deal to the fresh produce, we guys are working on it.
Fantastic, thank you. I miss all you guys. It's great to have you here with us again and to see your smiling faces. And it was a lot of fun last year. It's giving me lots of memories. Thank you. Olivia, I would like to welcome you as a Schulich student who went through this. I'd just like to ask you, what was your biggest kind of learning point or reflection moment from being with the students from Schulich? And for those of you who are watching maybe for the first time and weren't involved last year, the Schulich students' role is really to support and to be like a team up for the Indian student entrepreneur, right? So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today. And it's great to see everyone, especially Lokesh and Kunshpreet, because I had the opportunity to work with them on Rix for Together 2021 last year. And as a participant, I think one of the greatest things that I kind of experienced through it, and to your point, the opportunity to work with Kunshpreet, Lokesh, and the fact that I had the chance to work with Harman, who was a Lasand student, as well as another MBA student at Schulich, Ramya. I think it really taught me that the tribe that you build or the people that you get involved with regards to an entrepreneurship venture or a business that you're trying to build, the people truly are kind of at the core of what you're trying to build. So I think the fact that we had such a strong team of individuals with varying strengths, it allowed us to carry each other forward. So quickly identifying each other's strengths, we were able to say, hey, you know what, do you want to take a lead on this? Or, hey, we noticed that you're great on this. So everyone was able to kind of work together and hand in hand to kind of drive that forward. So I think that was definitely one of the greatest learnings that I had with regards to like the experience of being able to work with the team from India as well as the team from Toronto. So thank you again for putting us all together and being able to kind of participate and learn together through this experience.
Thank you, Olivia. That was amazing. And we're glad that it had such an amazing impact. My next question is to Team BRICS. After winning the second position in Together 2021, you've continued to work on the idea still and have renamed the company Anchorage Private Limited. Pardon me if I have pronounced it wrong.
Yeah.
Please tell us that how is it that Together 2021 helped you in the entire journey of creating the entire company to renaming it and creating impact?
So we were on very earlier phase when we joined this Together 21, and we had lots of work in our mind. We were doing lots of things, but when we came into this boot camp, so lots of things we have cluttered out. In those 7 days, our most of the things got some focus and a vision that what we are going to do. Because we did hands-on work on the finance and on multiple dimensions of a startup. So later on, we get to know that, okay, now we have to done all these particular tasks which we had worked upon in the last 7 days. And we got the second prize, and we got the financial support also. So just after a few months of completion of this program, we were hit by second lockdown. So on that time, it was literally hard for us to survive. So this financial support also gave us boost to continue our activity. And just the last 2 days back, we have completed our first year in our company. So we are now getting our first seed round. So this was a booster for us to keep our activities going on. Yeah.
I would like to add here as well. So when we were the part of this bootcamp, and that was also, we were going through a lot of pitching sessions, pitching to investors, other stakeholders. And on that time period, we have also partnered with the Udaipur Municipal Corporation to operate and manage their waste treatment plant. But due to pandemic, it was very getting for us. We were facing financial lag, and there was a lot of roadblocks. But this fund that we won from this college was really very helpful, and we could sustain and we could finance ourselves. So not only this, but the bootcamp, the mentoring sessions, the connections that they brought to us from the Canada, from the Olivia, Herman, Ramya, and the mentors connect like Naman and others, the co-founders and investors. They themselves, they brought their expertise, and that was really, really helpful. So I'm really grateful to the Schulich School of Business and York University, Startup India, Startup Invest for organizing such events and helping us startups. And yeah, and that's here, yeah, and we are raising our first pre-seed funding. Thank you so much.
That's amazing. It's great to have that update. And remind me, was it Naman Badeo that you had last year?
Yes, Naman Badeo and Adarsh Kumar. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
And they were our mentors.
And by the way, Naman has just brought a new venture capital group to life in Canada called Antler Canada. So I hope you're following that and staying in touch with them.
Yes, absolutely. We are following on it on LinkedIn, and I just got that too. Yes.
Okay, that's great. You should write him a note, send him this video today, and let him know what you're up to. So next question is for Nitish with GenFlow AI. We're all really curious to hear about your journey post the event and what's been happening with the business since then. If you could give us an update.
Okay, so I would like to start from my experience with Together 2021 and yet where we guys are. So in the 7 days boot camp, what we get the right path, because at that time we were at the pilot stage. And for any young entrepreneur, it's very important to work on the right path with the right guidance and in a right manner. So whatever the takeaways we got from this Together 2021, we started working on it. And trust me, I never imagined that we're gonna won this championship, because my only focus was to gather lot of information, lot of takeaways so that could definitely help in the future for myself. And with the help of my mentor Kevin, and of course and Akhil and Rahul, who worked with me at that championship, gave me a lot of knowledge. And what happened with my journey is, when I used to follow on that, I faced so many of challenges, and that takeaways inspired me, and that really worked on the career. Because the theoretical thing is different. When you will come in the battle now, in the business of battle, it is totally different. And that all takeaways work with me. And right now we guys are connected with 25,000 plus farmers in just 8 months, and we are keep progressing. Thank you.
That's amazing to hear, Nitish. All the very best. My next
Thank you.
question is to Olivia. Olivia, seeing your team BRICS doing so well, how does it feel to being part of a journey?
Yeah, so it's amazing to see Lokesh and Kunshpreet just thrive with their business, because I think they are solving one of the biggest problems, not only within India, but worldwide. So I'm so excited to be seeing them thriving. And I think the question around, like, how does it feel? I think it really feels like it was a once in a lifetime opportunity to be able to participate in Together 2021, because without it, I would have never been able to meet Kunshpreet, Lokesh, or even know about the problem that they were solving, which is turning waste into something like bricks that can help our society and help build affordable housing for those around the world. So I think I feel incredibly proud and incredibly grateful to have been a part of their journey. And with through Together 2021, I think what it taught us is to redefine that problem and to cater to the key value that or to be able to identify the key values that they were bringing, and be able to, again, amplify and enhance the great work that they were doing. So I think it was just such a great experience to be able to be a part of that whole journey through Together 2021. And we still keep in touch through LinkedIn and things like that. So it's great to see their progress as well. So congrats to Lokesh and Kunshpreet on all the progress they've made. Thank you.
That's amazing.
Wonderful. Our next question is for the Indian participants. And we'll give first shot to Genflow AI, and then move to team. I still call you Team Ricks. It's like it's stuck. It's in my heart, right? What the team was. So I'll try to learn the new brand. I'm working on it. So it's just, what advice would you give to students interested in joining Together 2022, and if they are successful and they get in, what should they make sure they do when they're in the competition? Nitish, we'll start with you.
Okay, so let me tell you one thing about myself first. I'm a Google worm. I always used to search any opportunities in Google for my startup. And at that time, I found Together 2021 at Startup India portal. And I was keen active on that platform. And, while I was reading that description, it was, the line Together 2021 is tremendous. It's something that shows like, oh, okay, the people from Canada and India is gonna join a platform where what we're gonna do, we don't know, because at that time we were not sure about the competition. But as I told, walking with the two different brains, two different mind is excellent. So I was looking for a network connect. I was looking for something to be highlighted. I was looking for a person who can guide me. Trust me, I never wondered that we gonna be champion. I never, because it was not my vision. The only reason was to gather the knowledge as much I can, because we guys are young entrepreneur and we need lot of things to grab and then rework on it. And of course, working with different minds is great. And nobody, I don't think so, I haven't seen any program like this. And the program which is connecting abroad and Indian things, Canadian students, Indian students, and mentors, business icon, and all in a single platform, and they are expressing, they're sharing their ideas, working on it. You are also helping in that. It's a great program. Chris, you are doing great.
Thank you. That's really kind of you. It's you guys who are doing all the hard work. I'm just having fun. Let's hear from Team Ricks. Each of you guys, what are your thoughts and advice?
So, it was just those who are joining in. Means, one thing they have to be ready that these are the two different timelines. In India, we have different time zone, and in Canada, they have different time zones. So you have to work late night, just like house. So it is going to be literally different for you. This week is going to be a little bit tired or the hard working, and grab as much as they can from their mentors and from their teams. Because the teams are going to be literally a backbone of whole competition, and they are going to give you very critical questions because they do not know about the Indian startup ecosystem and what problem Indian startup is working on. So they are curious to know all the things, and it is the entrepreneur's job to give them all the information, whatever they have, because entrepreneurs have lots of things in their head, but not in document or in any specific format. So the teams are going to ask them, they are going to stretch the entrepreneurs, and it's their job to give their 100%, whatever they know already. So yeah, this is what my take.
I would also like to add here. So even like for the students who wants to participate in this challenge, just think as it like you will be getting a connection from the Canadian students where school business will bring their business expertise, the York University will bring their technical expertise, and then you will have your mentors who will guide you throughout all these 5 to 7 days, and you will actually get a gist of like how the corporates work in a team from a different expertise. And that is also an amazing experience that we as a co-founders had. And you have like a mentoring sessions where they will bring amazing mentors, investors from across the field, across these both the countries. So it's an amazing experience, an amazing platform for you to get in connect with them as well. And so yeah, I mean, don't think about that you want to participate to get into the first, second, third position, but participate that you want to learn and learn and learn and make connections as well. That's all.
So, yeah, one more thing, Chris, I want to add here. They should not miss your story, what you are going to tell them in the whole 70, because they are the priceless. They are out of the box. So they should not miss your story.
That's cool. Thank you. We have story time with Chris each morning when we kick off, and I tell a legendary story from my own journey. So it's a lot of fun. Okay, Swani, we're going to say thanks to the group now, to everyone, and we really appreciate your time today and your advice and your guidance. And we're going to move forward to the next section of the program with our mentors. So we'll welcome our two mentors to the stage, both of whom are very dear to us and did incredible work last year with their teams and have continued to be very engaged. Cherry Rose Tan is the founder and CEO of #RealTalk, which is the largest movement in Canada working on founder and entrepreneur mental health. But her time spent with the Schulich School of Business then inspired us to bring her in as the new entrepreneur in residence with the school. And she's been doing great work there. And then my friend Soham, who is the founding partner at Trivius, but also the lead anchor mentor at Google for Startups in Bangalore in India, has been incredible. And not only did he do a great job, was one of the very first mentors in India to put up his hand, I think one or two, to put up his hand and say he wanted to be involved last year, but then really has continued to stay in touch all through the summer. When are we starting again? What can I do? How can I help out? And so we're happy to bring them both here today. We just have two questions for you. I'm going to ask you one question, and Swani's going to ask you one question, and each of you can answer. And the first question that I have is, like, when you heard about this initiative, what inspired you to take part, and your view of mentorship that made you think this would be a really interesting thing to do? Team up with another mentor. You two didn't team up and yourselves together, but to team up with another mentor in the other part of the world and to work on this. And we'll go first to Soham and then to Cherry Rose.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Yeah, it was an amazing opportunity, right? Like some of the other students were talking about, the connections are amazing, right? You get a completely new perspective of things. And that's where I'm really motivated by people. And just like hearing from people across the world, hearing from students, right? It just gives you a completely new perspective. So that was a really big reason for me, right? Motivated by people. The second really interesting reason for me was the ability to just zoom out, right? Like as entrepreneurs, every day we are in our grind, we are on our journey, right? But this gives you a very interesting opportunity to just zoom out and see so many different ideas taking shape, right, over the matter of a couple of weeks. So that was a really interesting opportunity. And of course, working with my fellow mentor, Matan, was super interesting because he was an investor and I was an entrepreneur. So we had this really interesting chemistry working with other people. I think we gave a really different perspective to startups, and I think that was a really interesting experience. I've never done that before. Working with an investor for a new startup idea. I was super excited for this.
Sherry Rose, how about yourself?
Yeah. First of all, I just want to say thank you to Chris and Swani for just bringing this all together. I mean, I think for me, what was really exciting and so impactful about being a mentor is that, especially for a lot of the mentors who participated last year, like I had an incredible collaboration actually with Sharu, who also is an ed tech entrepreneur. So both of us are ed tech founders, had previous companies in the space. And it was incredible to be able to partner with her and to really work with an ed tech startup that was really built by students and the youth. And I feel like this goes back to some of the comments earlier. I know Deepak Butler was mentioning about, the 3 unicorns a month that have been coming out of India, and the recent celebration of the newest unicorn this year, today. And really, honestly, like where all of this starts when it comes to building unicorns, when it comes to really revitalizing our communities, it all starts with the youth. And I think a huge part of any entrepreneur, any founder who's going into the world of startups is that, and it's like really, I would say common saying, especially in Canada, is that like the people that we see who are successful as, tech founders, for example, or as entrepreneurs, like nobody got there alone, right? Like every single person has had mentors. They've had this community behind them, whether it's investors or advisors or teachers who've really helped shape their journey. And so I'm really excited, really honored to be back here again as a mentor. And I know the other mentors as well from Canada, India are just equally excited.
Thank you so much, Rose. My next question is also to you. What were the key highlights while you mentored these students last year during Together 2021?
Sure, that's a really great question. I think the biggest highlight for me would actually be the energy and curiosity that students bring. In the work that I do, like I'm working with a lot of our student founders, a lot of our alumni founders. The deeper that we get in our journey, or the deeper that we get into, let's say, hey, I'm specializing in education, or I'm specializing in fintech. Sometimes that means that we become more distant or more removed from the original problem that we were solving. We don't have eyes on the ground anymore, or we're not getting a pulse in the community. And it was so wonderful working with the students because they're coming in with such fresh eyes, like really speaking to people who've experienced the problem that they're identifying. They're curious, right? So that oftentimes they're challenging assumptions that have maybe been held in industries. And I think for youth, but also for veterans alike, it makes for such just amazing conversation where we're bringing together sort of this wisdom that's maybe coming from experienced entrepreneurs, but the students coming in, as I said, with this energy of really wanting to maybe challenge the system or creating new systems that really better themselves, but also really better their community. And so I'm just so inspired by that. And really want to acknowledge as well all of our participants, our youth participants, our student participants from last year for the incredible energy that they brought, because it really brought together this foundation now where we were able to sort of double the amount of people who are going through this competition. So really kudos to all of you.
Thank you so much, Rose. We really appreciate your time and the impact that you're creating on these young minds. Thank you so much. Thank you, Soha.
So really quickly, would you like a final word on that in terms of your highlight?
Yeah, my highlight was very similar to, the students are so receptive to feedback. They're ready to work hard, to be eager, and to learn new things, right? As investors or entrepreneurs, we might not think the same way, right? But they're so willing to work hard. And I was really inspired with the amount of difference, right, in their thought process from day one to the end of the boot camp, right? And that was really interesting and left a really long lasting mark on me, right? That was really inspirational. And the fact that we got to see so many different startups doing this was incredible.
Thank you, Soham. Thank you, Cherry Rose Tan. I will see you at the bootcamp online, doing your thing and helping your companies move along. Swani, I'll turn it over to you for the next exciting special guest that we have today.
Thank you so much, Chris. An entrepreneur's journey is filled with enthusiasm, sparks of adrenaline, sometimes roadblocks, but is always enriched with learnings and wisdom. An entrepreneur wears many hats to walk on a path that he or she believes will lead to fulfillment. Today, we have two such entrepreneurs with us who believed in their ideas and have created successful business models over the years. One, a unicorn founder who has been upgrading the careers of many professionals, and the other who has been able to touch lives and fulfill dreams of many students who wished to study abroad. Without further ado, I would now invite Mr. Falgun Kompally, the co-founder of Upgrad, to share insights from his journey from an idea to a unicorn. We welcome you, Mr. Falgun Kompally.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Swami, for the introduction. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here. And I don't have too many insights to share because I think you're always constantly figuring out what to do. And one thing I can tell you as budding entrepreneurs, you might already know is that when we started this about 7 years back, we never thought it would be this big or we would be doing something meaningful, etc. Right? It all starts out of just great interest and curiosity for a certain idea, for a certain problem. And we have come a long way and we're very happy with what we've been able to contribute. But at each point of time in the last 7 years, including today, we have been constantly dissatisfied about where we are in terms of just everything, right? The scale, the quality of what we do, the processes, etc. So it's a constant learning journey. It's a constant journey to push yourselves to be better and try and solve problems at a much larger scale. So the only thing I can say is enjoy the time that you have today, especially as I think there are a lot of students here. One of the things I regret not doing is not being more experimental in my college days, where I could have tried out a lot. I think it's a great opportunity, especially with the kind of course that you're doing right now, to experiment, to learn a lot and to fail, to really figure out what excites you and where you're really passionate about spending a lot of time in the future, right? And if you're able to figure that out, I think that takes out a big problem that most people have in terms of not knowing where to spend the time that they have. And once you started, I think, as I said, over the last 7 years is from personal experience. Before even Upgrad, I was working in education for 4 years, and that's where I discovered that this is probably what I want to do for the rest of my life, where I worked at Parthenon as a consultant and visited multiple higher education institutions globally to realize that there is a massive problem that can be solved, and we can do it with online tech-driven education. So just when we started, as I said, back in 2015, me and my co-founder Mayank at that point, both of us came from Parthenon, both of us consultants, had no idea of what it actually takes to execute. We took a lot of pride in being smart and telling people what to do, but really having no idea how to do it ourselves. So it was a very hard transition for us over the first couple of years to actually then saying that, look, it's not good enough to know what is the right thing to do or what is the right answer, but actually getting it done is significantly harder, right? So as budding entrepreneurs, one thing I will say is get into execution as fast as you can and understand the challenges of executing even the simplest of things. And I think that will take you a long way if you're able to do it at a very early stage in your career. It's extremely challenging, but it's also extremely rewarding in terms of one, your own confidence, your own credibility, and at the end of the day, how much you can meaningfully contribute to society. So I'll take a pause. I don't want to go on. I know we have limited time, but happy to answer any other questions that anybody in the audience has. And otherwise, I'll hand it over back to Swani.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Falgun, for your time. I'm sure the students who are watching this have taken a bit of your advice and would follow their own passion and build products that they believe in. Chris, I hand it over to you.
Thanks for joining us. It was great to hear some of your guidance and some of your thoughts. I especially enjoyed when you said be more or you wish you had been more experimental, and I think you're giving that mission to the students: be more experimental, try more things earlier on when you're in college, and see what's possible. And we're really appreciative of the time you spent with us, and hope to find other ways to get you connected, involved. I think you'd have a lot of wisdom to share with the students as well too. So thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Nice pleasure being here.
Thank you so much.
And with that, Swani, we will introduce our next guest, Arnav Kumar, who's the founder of Leap Finance. And we're excited to hear from you, Arnav, in terms of your journey and your thoughts and missions that you want to suggest to the students are crucial in terms of farming and following their own entrepreneurial passions.
No, firstly, thanks, Chris, and thanks, Swani, for having me here. Pleasure listening to all the wisdom that was being shared. And thanks to all the panelists who spoke before. Maybe I'll give like a very quick background, and that will probably help contextualize whatever I say next. So I graduated in 2010, worked for a bank for 2 years, and for the next 9 years, I've been very lucky to be at the heart of India's startup ecosystem in different while wearing different hats. So I think I was lucky to be at the right place at the right time. 9 years ago, when Indian startup ecosystem was significantly, you can call more nascent or shallow, and there were not 3 unicorns being made every month. That's the time when I got a chance to be an operator in an early stage startup. I went on to become an entrepreneur, built something, raised capital for that. Then I became a venture capital investor with one of India's top funds, which is SAF Partners. They're now called Elevation Capital, and now building Leap as a platform for global careers and education. Anybody who's looking to have a global career and education, which is Leap. We have 2 products, Leap Scholar and Leap Finance, which serves different purposes for students. So that's like a quick summary of what I've done. Hopefully this contextualizes where I'm coming from. In terms of advice for students or sharing my journey, I'll come with a little bit of a framework. And I think I completely agree when Falgun said that there's no better time to start than college. Like, your costs are low, you're surrounded by very smart people who can become co-founders. You can be really, and because your costs are low, you're not thinking about opportunity cost, you're not thinking about your all the other factors on life that come up in life later on. You can be really audacious. And that's why if you see some of the biggest companies in the world, whether it's like Facebook or Google or PayPal, all these companies have been started by entrepreneurs. By college entrepreneurs, like while they were studying, right? And there's a reason, because I think it just that time of your life allows you to just be very, very audacious, allows you also to be a little bit naive. And I think naivete is a prerequisite for building something very, very big. The older you get in life, the more critical you get of everything, and you find reasons for why something will not work. And I think being a student surrounded by very, very smart people, having the resources and the brand of the institution that you're in, I think it's a great place where these things come together. You can be very audacious. You're surrounded by smart people who will become co-founders, early employees in your journey. And most importantly, you'll be able to think very, very big, because you're not optimizing for opportunity cost and all of that. So I completely agree that starting as early as possible is probably the right thing when you're trying to become an entrepreneur, and be very, very audacious, and don't let practicalities really come in the way. You have to be a little bit naive and a little bit immature, to put it that way. You have to be a little bit foolish. And that's why, like, stay hungry, stay foolish is actually a great quote in that regard. So that's just on the point of why students should try to become entrepreneurs, and why a lot of good students, I encourage a lot of students from IIT Kharagpur, which is my alma mater, and anybody to say, hey, just start. Like if you have that itch, start ASAP. Don't think. Some students will be like, hey, we want to get more experience and then we'll start, which is fine. But then you start at 45 because you'll never get enough experience. Like you'll always be learning. So it's better that you start young and when you identify with the problem and when you have the drive and the hunger and the energy. So that's definitely there. I'll just probably take 2 more minutes and share. I want this chat to be useful and not just high level sort of advice. I'll share one framework or 2 frameworks that we built when I was a VC investor that might be helpful for some students who are thinking of becoming entrepreneurs shortly. The simplest framework that we were able to come up with is when you're thinking of an idea, the most critical aspect is, can you imagine a 10x better future? Can you does your gut tell you that the future cannot be the same as the present? And sort of 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, can you look at a significantly better future? I think if you have confidence in a future which is significantly better than the present, I think that's 50% of your journey done. So that's step 1, like figure out and imagine a future and write down a future that we imagine, which will be significantly better than the present today. That's step number 1. And comes the second step of, okay, now you have an idea. How do you validate sort of whether this is an idea worth working on? And there, I think there has to be 3 filters that we usually apply for when we're looking at like an idea or evaluating an idea. One is, hey, is this a top of mind problem? Like, is it a problem that somebody really thinks about? Is it a tearing the hair, top of mind problem for the user that you're going after? Number 1. Number 2, do you understand why sort of the market or the solutions today are inefficient? And how will you come up with a 10x better solution to where the world is, right? That's number 2. And third is like founder market fit. Is this a market where this particular founder, or for students who are evaluating this for themselves, is it a market where you can come up with either sort of some unique insight or unfair advantage into this market? I think if these 3 questions, which is, hey, is this a top of the mind, really tearing the hair problem for the user? Can you figure out why the current solutions are not working? Why are they inefficient? And can you think of a 10x better solution there? And thirdly, as I mentioned, is there right founder market fit with this problem? I think these three questions are tick marked, then you are in a very, very good place. And thereafter, it's all down to execution, which again, like simplest framework for execution is figure out what winning looks like for you, define that in metrics and grow sort of 10 to 20% on every metric every week, and sort of do whatever it takes to get that metric moving. So this is how we define this framework, saying, hey, really high level, can you imagine a great future? Second level is, how do you say this problem is worth working on? Thirdly is execution. That's the framework that we have followed. I followed as a venture capital investor, and that's the framework I follow as an entrepreneur. And hopefully this will be helpful for some students who are thinking of how to go about starting those companies which will become the next Google and Facebook. So yeah, I don't want to sort of talk too much. This is a topic I love talking about. As I said, I've been in this ecosystem for donkey's years now. So I can keep going on and on, but being respectful of time, I'll take a pause. If there are any questions, happy to take. Otherwise, once again, thank you everyone who's listening in and everyone for inviting us.
Thank you, Arnav. It's very humble of you for sharing the 3 frameworks that you and your team have been following. I'm sure the listeners who are watching us from both India and Canada must have taken a note and would learn from your own journey. Really, very thank you for your time. Chris, over to you.
Thank you again, Arnav. And I'm definitely loving the audacious and naive mission that you've given us today. I think that all of us, it's amazing to hold that when we're students. We should all keep doing that as we continue on in our lives. And that will be the spirit that will allow us to see new opportunities and take really interesting risks. Thanks, Arnav, and thanks, Falgun, as well, too, for your time here today. We know time is precious running the companies. They're amazing companies. That time means a lot for a founder. So we appreciate that you've spent it with us and shared your insights for the students. And for everybody watching today, I would encourage you to go online and check out Upgrad and check out Leap Finance. Give them a follow on whatever platforms you use and watch these companies because they're cool and they're only continuing to grow and do great things. Thanks for joining us. And with that, we'll go to the next section of the program, Swani, and we're going to talk about the program coming up for Together 2022. We're going to give a couple quick shout outs here. we're going to say thank you to some of the people that are here with us today online that have already jumped in and are supporting us. This list is going to continue to grow with every passing day, and it was growing yesterday. We were excited to get our confirmation yesterday that the City of Toronto is back again as a lead partner with us in the program. Like they were last year, they were the first on Canada's side to put up their hand and say, we're here to help and we're going to contribute to make this happen. We're really excited to be joined today by members of the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce, who have been rallying their membership behind us. Thai Toronto, Mahindra and the team working to bring mentors signing up from the Canada side to work together. The Canada-India Business Council and that team, again, helping introduce us to key people. And of course, Toronto Global, who are the champion of sharing the Toronto story around the world and have been a key partner in this. We've also got some great organizations that are helping to rally students and mentors in both countries. This list is going to continue to grow, but already Y-Space at York University, our Lassonde School of Engineering at York, and in India, Startup Riso and Hostel Fund have been already helping us out. And we're excited for all the partners who are joining as we go along. So thank you, and thank you to those of you from those organizations who joined us today. Moving along, we'll talk next about the bootcamp itself. It's 7 days, as you've heard people reference and talk to before. It's January 3rd to the 9th, and it's the perfect time of year, the one spot that we found where all the calendars across the two countries align and give us a little open of time between the academic calendars. And so we use that time together to really do some transformational things. So we have our student entrepreneur teams from India teamed up with our students from Schulich. And that mission that we talked about is really important to remember for any of those who are thinking of applying from the Indian student entrepreneur community, is that all the IP, all the business, all the benefit that's being built is yours. The Canadian students are here only to help and support and to do their best to power you up with the things that they've learned on their journeys through their master's programs in business school at Schulich or through their life's professional journeys and their networks, and to open up their hearts and open up their time and their energy to you to support you in your dreams and your visions and what you want to do next. And I think that's a really big part of why this works, and the spirit of it is that it's not about two countries coming together to outcompete each other. It's not whether did Canada win this year or did India win this year. It's not that at all. It's more of the spirit of friendship and partnership that we're going to help each other to do cool things. And for that, I really have to commend the Schulich students on that note for their spirit of generosity, for understanding why we get behind the Indian student entrepreneurs, and we're there to back them in this way. Moving along, we'll talk about some of the sectors that are really important to us that are identified in terms of the work that's being done. So when the students from India are applying, these are the sectors: e-mobility, environment, and energy. You can look through them here. There's a real diverse set. But what holds these things together as sectors is that we're looking for business concepts, ideas, early stage startups from the student population in India that understand the importance of self-reliability, that building towards the Indian economy to make it strong and go to that next level is at the heart of what we're looking to do. Sustainability in terms of environment, in terms of looking to the long-term future of a planet and people, and how these businesses make an impact there. And lastly, social purpose does not mean that each business has to be focused on a social purpose, but we really appreciate when the students are thinking about how their organizations, either in the essence of the company or just how they're going to give back in the world, are thinking about their way of contributing back to community and to society in India as they build their businesses. Next up, let's take a look at the mentorship approach. And this is really exciting for us because it's a paired mentorship approach that actually brings together a unique model. And I'm not sure, if this has been done before. I'm not sure it's ever been done at this scale. And certainly, Swani, not at the scale we're talking about this year, with 100 mentors from Canada and 100 mentors from India coming together to form these pairs around the student teams. And it was really magical last year to see these mentors working together, connecting side by side. They bring different thoughts and different experiences. The Indian mentors are bringing their whole history of knowledge and expertise in building their own ventures or investing in companies, but they're also bringing the depth of love and appreciation for India and for the entire country and their understanding of what makes it unique and so special in the world. And the Canadian mentors are coming to the table with an outside perspective, an ability to maybe look at something a little bit differently or see a global context for the potential of the business and what it could be in North America if that were the case, or how people would view investing in it from their communities here. They also get to make friends. So many of the mentors have continued to connect together and talk together and find ways to work together or share ideas together over time. And that's the secondary part of the benefit of this program, is to weave our two innovation economies together, not only at the student level, but also at the level of the leadership teams within the two economies. So I'm excited to see that. And we've had we put out the call for mentors and we already have a ton of people signed up. So it's really exciting. Our trainers next we'll talk about, and you met one of them today in Sunita, who will be doing the venture training side of things in terms of how the students can think about securing an investment, what the languages that they use and how they connect. We have one of the top pitch strategists on the planet, Ben Stacey, who works not only throughout the Canadian ecosystem, but the global ecosystem, coaching and training students on how to refine their message, how to present both in person and on video, as we do so often now. We have a top product strategist in Jeremy Vo, who is also a valued Schulich alumni, who has risen through both his own startup, but also through building within major enterprises and developing an expertise on how to really nail down what the product is and how it evolves over time. And we'll also have with us my friend Sultan, the CEO of the Future of Education Conference. This will be a highlight. This gentleman speaks with a passion and a power of conviction about social entrepreneurship and its power in the world that I think will truly inspire the students to understand why that part of what they're doing is so important as they go forward. The program offerings, let's look at what is up on the table for the students who participate. You heard from some of the students and participants who were here earlier in the event. We're going to have cash prizing again, like last year. You heard the value of that for the students in terms of like how that helped them to move the business forward. And we're continuing that, looking to up the ante this year in terms of the size of the cash prizes that are available for everyone. The global network that you get access to, both in India and Canada, around the world, people pulling behind you and opening their doors and their networks to support. The international mentors, as we've talked about earlier, that will be behind you and be supporting you not only during the event, but be there as friends and colleagues for you as your journey continues, and the knowledge workshops themselves. We also have some interesting incubation partners that we're in the final process of getting set up, and we have some of them continuing from last year. We'll have some new ones this year that will be welcoming you in post-event to help you continue your journey, because they look now to see what are the companies emerging from Together 2022 as an opportunity to find great talented young people to be part of their programs. So with that, we want to say thank you to everyone who participated today, all of our honored guests, all of our special speakers, all of our former participants, our mentors. The application is live now, and there's the address. You can start getting signed up. We'd love to get the next wave of Indian entrepreneur students getting signed up with their companies. The students signed up from Schulich. Here's where you can follow us at our various channels in terms of following us on Instagram and LinkedIn and getting connected with what we're up to. Swani, I will give you the last word to wrap us up for the day. And thanks. You've been a great partner here in our kickoff. I'm having fun with you. We're going to build new and amazing things together. And we did it. We're through the first broadcast. Swani, final words to you.
Thank you so much, Chris, for walking everyone through the program. Yes, the applications are live for all the Indian viewers here. The applications are live on the Startup India portal. They're live till the 7th of December. So log on to the Startup India Hub and register for the bootcamp. And for everyone, for any further information, please log on to the Schulich School of Business website. The link is right on the website, on the channel, in the chat box. Do check it out. And we look forward to having you all over with the bootcamp. Thank you so much, Chris. And we hope that it was a very informative and insightful session.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
We will
Take
see
care.
you online.